How good are AI and automatic mixing tools versus a real human mixer? Well, that is something I set out today to find out for us here. It's the end of 2023, and I want to go take a deep dive into this. So I've got a cool thing for us today. Hi, by the way, I'm Joel Wanasek, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to go dive into a mix that I did for a band about 2 years ago, and we're going to compare what those mixes sound like versus a computer-generated version. So in terms of automatic mixing tools, there's a lot of really great ones on the market. For example, there's like Soothe, which does like automatic resonance and EQ, and Gullfoss. There's DF Clarify, which cleans up your cymbals and things like that. There's Isotope Neutron Sculptor, which like automatically EQs things and tone shapes them. There's Sonable Smart Comp 2. There's some new AI vocal thing that Isotope put out, but I couldn't get it in time to make this video. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out, and it's a lot of fun. But like I said, the question is, how good are these plugins? And more importantly, who is it targeted for? Is it something that's going to be useful for somebody like me who does this professionally? Or is this geared towards more of people who are, beginners to intermediates in the market? Or maybe there's some crossover. A couple things going on here. I need to make a disclaimer. I want to give a shout out to the band Scarlett O'Hara for letting me borrow their song Witching Hour and using it. Thank you guys, are great. Go give them a like, please, or I should say a listen on Spotify. I'll have a link in the description below. So I grabbed this song here. I have two mixes of this, which I think is going to be fun. I have the old API mix that I did 2 years ago. Then I have an SSL mix where I just remixed it, and I think we might have tweaked some guitars or like changed the snare drum or something like that. But we did an SSL mix like literally the day after I got this thing in here, and just kind of ran it through. And then I have an automatic mixed version of this song where basically I went in and I used only automatic mixing tools, right? Like Soothe, Neutron, Vocal Rider, Smart Comp, Ozone's automatic mastering, etc. And I mixed the entire song with it. Now, there was a couple challenges. The first was reverbs, delays, and spreaders on the vocals. So I just recreated the effects that I used, and I basically opened my stock presets when the plugins open. So that's how I got around that for sends. So it's technically, automated mixing. I just opened the plugin and closed it and set it up. These are the tools that I used, and I basically tried to recreate this mix as close as I could. And then I have the actual mixes here, and they have some different chains on them because, this is what was on the final print. That is the actual reference mix. And then here is like the AI, or, like I shouldn't say AI, but like automatic mixing tools mix. So all I basically had to do was try to use these tools to mix it as good as I could, track spacer, all this stuff. And then try to go in and then adjust fader levels to get something that's sort of, competitive. And the results are interesting. So just to give you some reference, let's listen to maybe 20 seconds of the original mix and hear what it sounds like. All right, so you've got a pretty good idea. We've got a heavy rock song that's on the verge of metal. It gets pretty aggressive. It sounds pretty big. Okay, here's what this sounds like with automatic mixing tools to the best of my ability. Old mix. It's not terrible. I mean, it's a total slaughter, but at the same time, there's some good things about it. So let's break it down and go on like a case-by-case basis here, and I'll show you how I set up some of this stuff. There's definitely some points where this mix really falls apart, and especially like when we get to vocals and things like that, stuff gets a little bit wonky. But let's take a look here at drums. This was like the first thing that really kind of got me. I picked this song because it was very simple in terms of the drums and stuff. I've got some cool samples and all that. Here's what it sounds like. I basically tried not to take it too far off. I used some Smart Comp. I used a little bit of Neutron to clean up the room and some Clarify on the cymbals. And here's what the kick sounds like. Now I tried Smart Comp on the kick, and I really didn't like how it turned out. So I actually took it off. But what's interesting is the way that it automatically detected it. As soon as the double bass kicks in, it totally chokes out. So watch this. Later, there's a double kick run. Check this out. Totally annihilates it. Like, where do the balls on my kick go? What happened? If I take it off. I also tried this neutron compressor, but it's not quite as automatic as Smart Comp. So Smart Comp, it was a little weird on the kick drum. I couldn't get it to work, so I got rid of it. Let's hear it on the snare. Take it off. I mean, it's like kind of doing something. Okay, I mean, whatever, I left it on. Then I have the snare sample. I use neutron on this. Let's check this out. So I like the EQ, but neutron is automatically EQing the tail of the reverb as it goes down. Hear that like weird phasey thing? So in the mix, I think it sounds better, but it sounds kind of weird by itself. All right, that snare tail's killing me, but I like the tone of it. So, okay, neutron was good there. Okay, so the auto stuff here, let me put that other Smart Comp on. Here's what it sounds like. So yeah, it's like a little bit better. Except for the kick, it's just terrible. Now I do have the kick side chaining out to the bass on a track spacer, but we'll come back to that later. Next up here on cymbals, I got DF Clarify, which is a smart plugin here that basically takes your cymbals in real time, or you can learn the profile if you want, and it matches it to pink noise with a special slope, basically because it's really smooth. It pulls about a bunch of resonances out and it sounds really musical. I've got this on. Here's what it sounds like. Kills all those nasty resonances. It's real. I love that plugin. I'd hope so because I designed it, but I'd be very mad if that one sucked. So that's what our drums sound like. Okay, let's take a look at our bass. We've got two tracks here. We've got like an OTT, which is over the top, and regular, just balanced. So it needs a little bit of EQ because in the mix, it's kind of thin and weak, and like if I come in and I match it to the original, it totally sucks. So I'm like, all right, I got to get some balls in this mix. So let's go take a look at the neutron settings we used to hype this up a little bit. So if I open up neutron, I was playing around with like the tone and the amount and all that stuff and putting it on bass. Kind of scoops up the mids and just boosts the bottom. I think neutron really shined here. Listen to this in the mix. Way better. Now I put a track spacer on it because every time that kick hits, it's gonna duck it. Before. Just a little bit, you know what I mean, to kind of give the kick a little bit more space to hit. So I think track spacer is pretty good there. Neutron on this OTT track. Here's what that sounds like. Takes the harsh out of it. And then I've got a sub. For those of you who like sine waves. Same thing, neutron. As if it needed any more sub boosted. So I feel like I got a pretty decent low end. Still doesn't have like the size and impact of the original. It's adequate, like it's okay. I don't hate it. So good tools there. That's a really nice setup. Okay, next thing here, we've got the guitar print. Let's go take a look at the guitar tracks here. My assistant reamped. Put on neutron. So just kind of tame some of the nasty stuff. Mind the gate here, that's just to get the amp noise out of there, like that shh, you know, that's in there because I'm using an impulse over distortion. So neutron on and off. I feel like it kind of neuters the guitar. Like I'm not crazy about it, but we're gonna leave it on because it's auto mixing, right? Compare it to the original. Yeah, like the guitar tone just completely slays that. So, okay, whatever. It is what it is. It's cool. Let's go take a look at some of these leads here. I got Soothe on this, before and after. That's what Soothe does so well. It gets those weird resonances out that just don't sound good. So yeah, it's not terrible, you know, it's not terrible. Okay, let's go check out, there's a clean bridge guitar here that's kind of neat that I did some interesting auto mixing on. Let's listen to this. So first I opened up Neutron, then I opened Soothe. Now this has got a really cool clean setting on it for guitar. Listen to what it does. Problem is it brightens it up and it gets a little harsh, but enter Soothe. That was a good move there. I like that. It's way better. Way, way, way better. Okay, we got a bunch of post-production and stuff like that down here. So let's see what's going on. Just to give you an example. So I just used a couple instances of Soothe and Neutron here to kind of make this stuff sound a little better. Like, check this out. That's clearly better. Definitely better. I think so far, drums, it's been rough. Like, I feel like it's safe to say that AI snare is freaking trash. It's really bad, but it's done a pretty good job on the guitars and bass and stuff like that, especially the bass. I definitely like it there, and you know, the post-production elements. Again, if we listen to like a real snare. AI, your snare just sucks. It's so bad. You're gonna get laughed right off the charts with a snare like that. But vocals is where it feels like it got a little weird for me. So let me go grab like a raspy part. So the singer is a heavy vocalist. He's got some rasp, he's got some attitude, he screams, he sings, you know, and sometimes it gets really gritty. To me, that EQ is a little weird. Here's the original. It's putting some weird frequencies in there that I don't think should be in there. I had an interesting battle with this. I started out with Neutron, and I ended up on the instrumental bus setting. And I know this looks crazy and extreme, but before. Another cry, don't complain. So that got me a better curve, but it's boosting all this sub in there. On voice, it totally doesn't work. Like, that sucks. I don't want some smooth, nice vocal for a metal song. So Neutron just like totally fails me right here. I had to put it on instrumental, and even it's just hyping all the wrong frequencies in the wrong places for the singer, and it's just not good. So that kind of really, it didn't jive too well with me. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't super excited. Next up, I threw on Vocal Rider here and tried to get this mix without compression. Make another cry, don't complain. I got it in the mix, you know, and I took off all these smart comps, and I just like, I couldn't get my vocal balance right, no matter how much time I spent with Vocal Rider. And I love it for automation. I do use Vocal Rider quite a bit, but it just doesn't like in the chorus. Like, it sucks. It's not doing its job. So I put in smart comp. I mean, that's a little bit better. It's at least kind of listenable. I don't know. Those frequencies are weird. Stop blaming. So I don't know. Maybe there's a better AI assisted vocal tool. The smart comp, I think, really saved this. Stop blaming the voices. I wouldn't have picked 1.7 to 1, but fine, whatever. I'm not AI. Okay. But again, I thought it was really good on the vocals. So vocally, this mix really falls flat. Like, listen to the original. Stop blaming the voices. Instead of the vocal just being in your face and having this aggressive, nice, clean, bright energy to it, it's just kind of like so lackluster. It doesn't pop out of the speakers. And even though like I've got a little bit of a louder master on here than on the AI mix or the automatic mix than I do the actual mix, it's still interesting because it doesn't sound anywhere near as good or powerful. And it just totally like. Check out the screaming. Same chain. See, that sounds pissed off. This, it's just not heavy at all. It has no energy to it. So, I mean, hey, these tools have some places to be desired, and there's some cool things they do. I thought the smart comp for me, like I said, was a big winner on the vocals. It did good there. The next place here, if we move on, let's go to the bus processing. If we go to the mix bus, I tried to do this with Neutron, but then I realized there was an AI compressor, which is smart comp. So I decided to use that on my mix, and this is what it came up with, and I put it on metal mix. Okay, we have 122 millisecond attack time. Like, what? I can't think of a metal mixer in history that's ever used that. They probably should have consulted a real metal mixer, but hey, I'm allowed to give them a hard time. This is actually a really, really great plugin. And all these companies, I love these products. I think they're fantastic. But like I said, we're here to have a little bit of fun, so I could put some nice jabs. Okay, before the compressor. Is that my favorite sounding bus compressor I've ever heard on a mix like this? Probably not. I feel like I could smoke that with like, say, Townhouse or SSL or my own or whatever. But all right, cool, whatever. That's what it gave me. This is where this gets interesting now. Okay, actually, hold on. One more step before that. I put the instrumental bus. I like what this does here. That's way better on Neutron. Like, it totally hypes up the mix, and that sounds way better. Like if I put it like this, right, and then just reference it. That's like way closer to that hyped curve that this mix needs to be competitive. Okay, so this is just with my limiter on there. Let's try doing an automatic master here with Ozone and seeing what happens. We're gonna use their AI. So I'm gonna delete all this nonsense here because I had this on earlier. I'm just gonna hit the mastering assistant button and we're gonna go compare AI mastering versus just like a standard, just smash it up and see what happens. So. There are some pretty interesting choices it made here. Okay, first off, what is this EQ curve? Thanks for counteracting everything that just happened on Neutron. Okay, that's interesting. Before the EQ. I don't like that at all. I don't know why they did that, but fine, whatever. Okay, let's see what the dynamic EQ does. Okay, that's a much better, I think that's a good move. All right, AI gets 1 point there. So -1 +1, we're at a flat 0. Okay, Ozone. Now I've been mastering with Ozone since probably 2008. I love this plugin. This is my favorite mastering limiter ever. First off, guys, heavy song, you got the wrong setting. You want is IRC2. Okay, first off, this is the wrong one. You can't, this is not for heavy music. That snare sounds like a freaking pancake. Not good. Okay, let's go compare this to just standard mastering with like no hype EQ. I mean, I feel like just cranking it up on the maximizer kind of whoops the crap out of what the AI suggested. Maybe it just doesn't know how to handle this kind of mix, but the AI master just falls on its face. Not in this genre. It's too nice. It's too nice. This is kind of fun. This is interesting. Now let's take a look at, so I've got two different versions of this mix. Okay, so here's what we're coming in at. The original mix. I love how much more impact that has, how much wider it is, how much more glue. It's hyped in the right places. You know, it's actually mixed. And I know this translates very, very well across many systems because this mix has been out for a while. Now, this is going to be fun. I have an SSL version of this mix, so you can hear the difference between it being mixed through the API versus the SSL with a few small tweaks, because as soon as I got the SSL and the band was like, hey, you want to remix this through the SSL and put it out on a new EP? I'm like, yeah, why not? So that's what this sounds like. It's cool, like, to hear the difference in imaging. Like, the SSL is a little bit wider. To me, it sounds like a big glass rectangle versus like a round sphere, if that makes sense. So let's compare the SSL mix here to the AI mix. To me, it sounds like the difference between a demo and an actual mix. Let me go to like a heavy part. You know, there's the front to back, the left to right, the top to bottom, the depth, the impact, the way it feels, the way things are balanced. You know, it's just like the AI automatic mixing tool. I don't know why I keep calling it AI, but the automated mixing tools are cool, but obviously the real mix totally smashes it. So after diving in deep here in real time and sharing my reaction to this, because I did this a couple of days ago and I got it dialed in and then I closed it, and I wanted to get like a first gut impulse here. You know, I feel like the automated tools and the AI stuff really has a long way to go. Maybe it's better in other genres. Like, people tell me this stuff is better in like electronic music and stuff like that, but it's hard to say how much it's going to go up in the next 10 years. Is it going to replace real mixers? I don't know. That's a thing for speculation. I think these tools are very powerful in certain capacities. For example, if you're a beginner, you know, a songwriter or something like that, and you don't really know how to mix, or you're just starting to learn how to mix, or even an intermediate, I feel like these tools are pretty powerful, and they're going to make your life a lot easier because you can just set and forget. You don't need to know what you're really doing. You can just kind of like hit the button, get something that works, and just raise the fader up and down and get a product out, which is cool, you know, especially if you're like writing songs and pitching songs and things like that. Very, very good. As a pro, you know, a lot of pros use things like Soothe. I love Soothe as a plugin, but I feel like the problem with Soothe is that if you use it too much, it has a signature sound and everything starts to sound overly soothed, right? I don't think that's a good thing. It kind of makes everything sound the samey. Given that we're art here, you know, we're making art, we're making music, I feel like anything that makes things sound unified is bad. It's better to have a diversity of creativity, and like, I want to hear real stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I like looking at pictures, but I'd rather go to the gallery and look at a real painting on canvas and oil. That's how I feel about mixes. Like, it's great that computers, you know, we can kind of get something that kind of works, and with a little bit of balance and a little bit of finesse, you can get a decent mix. It's not going to go beat Andy Wallace anytime soon. Maybe in 20 years, who knows? But I like the real thing. I think there's an energy and a passion and a certain, you know, you can just feel that emotion in the song a lot better. These tools are good in a professional capacity. I feel like sometimes something like Sculptor is very powerful because you can kind of just like, I need to heighten my mix a little bit more, or, you know, things like that, or slightly adjust like EQ curve or Soothe, or Track Spacer is an amazing tool. DF Clarify, all of these tools are great. You know, the Smart Comp is a really, really cool idea. And I feel like if I actually spent more than 10 minutes playing around with it before I got on this video, I would have probably been able to find some things that I absolutely love. Automated mixing tools, AI mixing tools, pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, please, if you like this kind of content, give me a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn how to actually mix, head over to nailthemix.com. Happy mixing, everybody.